Hey, buds. Welcome to the Fantasy Buds podcast. It's your host, Brian Gold.
Mark Letrio.
And I'm Tim Stewart.
And if you want to follow us on social media, you can go to the link tree in the description below and follow us on Threads, TikTok, and Instagram. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the show. Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, whatever.
Good night if you're watching
Good
from
night.
Melbourne. Or like Beijing.
It is Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't have a lot to give thanks for after
No.
this week.
I was just going to ask, what are you guys thankful for the most in fantasy this year?
Not Joe Abassi.
Yep, I'll agree with that one.
Sorry, Joe. We love you. But
You can still-
fuck yeah. No, so I need 29 between Kelsey and Pacheco. So like in essence, that should be easy, right?
No, you need,
29 combined.
let's just say 30.
But yeah, so 30
combined.
combined between them both. I mean, look, like the Eagles are pretty miserable against tight ends, so
Yeah, you need 30 to win.
yeah. Now
Exactly 30.
But this man, Joe Abassi, is the biggest voodoo doll, black magic. Fucking
I mean, you just look at his lineup,
like, come
and it's
on.
like, why?
Like Gus Edwards, Devin Singletary, Dalton Kincaid, and Jared Goff, and I'm getting fucking creamed right now.
Jesus.
Like, what the fuck is it? It's like when you play, if like you ever play Madden and you play on all Madden, and like every player is like Tom Brady.
Yeah, and they
pretty
all
much.
break a fucking tackle. And
Yeah,
make it-
like for every quarterback's 15 for 15 by halftime. Like you just can't do anything. Yeah, that's Joe Abassi's team. I mean, he does have Tyreek Hill.
he always has like one stud, and then it's just a bunch of like role players that just
Yeah, and it's like
pick and
Joe's
choose each week.
second pick, I think, was Mark Andrews. Like, it's not like Mark Andrews was even like amazing before he got hurt.
Oh.
It's like it does suck. Like rip Mark Andrews, rip Burrow to 07.
Oh my God. Like, what a fucking awful Thursday.
My uncle was at the bar watching the game with the guy he was playing against. My uncle had Burrow and Mark Andrews on
And
his
they
team
both done.
in the first quarter too.
So-
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
I feel like just injuries are just so much, they're so much worse than they have been in recent years.
I think it's just because of all the star players going down. Because
It
there's
does.
a ton of injuries every year.
And it does feel like it's all the stars
Yeah, like I think it's
this
just
year.
and it's like guys who usually like Jefferson has never been hurt this year. Like
I saw somebody complain about taking him. He's like, I can't believe I took him first overall. And I'm like, I mean, he was dominant for 4 straight games and was the wide receiver one.
I don't think you fucked up taking
No.
him first.
People think like because your player gets hurt that you fucked up. It's just unfortunate. It's more so like when they underperform, that's when you're like, ooh.
Yeah, like you could have been a silly goose and drafted somebody like, I don't know, Calvin Ridley. Or who actually was pretty great yesterday. But
Finally.
But yeah, fine. I mean, still though, but if he comes back next week and has 6, then it's just the same story.
It's the same fucking story.
So it's
This is his best week since week 1.
yeah, and like that's not good. I mean,
This is
guy
what
you
we were talking about.
Yeah, it's like a guy you were drafting at the beginning of the 3rd, and like to be honest, I wasn't really even on that hype. I Ridley got way too much hype because of a couple routes in training camp
Against Jacksonville corners.
that he ran. Yeah, and I loved Ridley, but as a 5th rounder, 6th rounder, dude, I saw him going into 2nd in some leagues. That's crazy.
Because they envisioned the games that he had yesterday
Yeah, but it's
to
like
be
dude,
like a regular thing.
guy
It just
like,
wasn't.
Meanwhile, Keenan Allen was like left for dead in the 4th this year.
I saw him going way later than that.
I haven't seen the 5th sometimes.
Yeah.
He was going in like the 6th. Because
Like-
people were like, oh, he's old. He's going to get hurt. It's going to be Mike Williams and Quentin Johnson.
Quentin
It's like-
Johnson looks like a waste right now. And then Mike Williams, it actually sucks because like he really is a good player, but he just can't stay healthy.
He can't.
It's just you see it every year. Like you just, I remember in our 14 team league, he just kept falling in the free agency. It was like the 9th round, and we're like, all right, who's gonna be the one to take Mike
Who's gonna do
Williams,
it?
guys? Who's gonna do it?
Because at some point you have to take the chance that he does have that full season. But
Because like if he does, you know it's going to be great. But I mean, it's like the anomaly we're seeing with Raheem Mostert. Like, maybe he's going to play a full season, and he's been pretty amazing.
He's finally been healthy.
But like, he's never been able to do that. So it's when you just see a trend like that, it's tough to
you
hop
just
on it.
pat yourself on the back, like, oh, finally.
And you're like, yeah.
I took him 5 years in a row, and then it finally hit. It's like with Nick with Devontae
Parker. Yeah.
It took like 6 years for it to happen.
Oh my God. And it's like he still was all right. Like,
yeah, he was like,
mid.
what, the 15 receiver? Like, it wasn't even that fucking great.
Chris.
Listening to Tim's tit.
We are listening to the
I
patch
saw it,
on
and that's
Tim's
what I was like,
jersey.
there we go.
We're listening to the logo on Tim's jersey.
I did get a fucking free win from Christian this
Yeah,
week.
what the fuck was that, dude? Like,
I didn't even have a great week.
if I was Joe Abbasi, I'd be pissed. Like, if he wins tonight,
If you were
against
Joe
me-
Abbasi?
yeah, because you're still gonna be ahead of him if he wins. I think.
I don't think so.
Actually, no. Did you beat him when you played him? Did he win or did you win?
No, so it goes off of
Or does it
points.
just go
so
off points for?
He needs to not outscore me.
Look at that. I literally made the
I still
league. I
have
don't even fucking
Mahomes
know.
and Devonta Smith, so I could match him to where it stays the
How many-
same.
how
But
many- I think that you'll get more than 130
I think you'll be good.
with Mahomes and Smith.
even if I only get 20 from them, I'll still be ahead because he has to outscore me by like 45.
Yeah, and it's a Joe doesn't have anybody left.
No,
So, and if I win, it's going to be good for you because if Travis Kelce does great, obviously Mahomes
I do need you to win.
is going to do great.
So fucking good.
Yeah, and I need to win too because Tiny, that motherfucker, he won too, and he won by a point. That jerk off,
By a fucking
98 to 97.
Jesus.
Meanwhile, I'm getting
Point.
blown
Are you all
out.
right?
What happened?
It's 88 to 87.
Oh, sorry.
You fucking moron.
That's even worse. The 88 to 80. So how do you have 80? How does not one team but two teams not break 90?
It's actually a lot of teams this week. Mike didn't break 100. Tim didn't break 100.
Matt's probably not going to break 100.
break 100. You're at 99. Tiny and Brandon both didn't have fucking more than 90. That's just, I can't believe that by 1 point they both had the same.
I feel like Tiny actually did make a pretty good point the other day. He said, I feel like fantasy this year is either like you score 150 or 80, and he's right.
Yeah.
Like I really feel like that's how it's
He's
been.
100% right.
And it doesn't really matter like which league I've been playing in. It's like every league, and I'm in like 6 leagues. It's like across every league. It's like
pretty unhealthy.
It's very unhealthy, but it's like you're either scoring 90 or you're scoring 140 or more. And yeah, you have 87 to 88 in that game.
and now they're both 5 and 6.
Yeah. Then meanwhile, you got Gus Edwards and Devin Singletary combining for 44. Against
That's such a Joe
like what
running
the
back
fuck
tandem.
is that? Like Joe last year, like you guys remember Jamal Williams last year? Joe had him.
Sweet.
Yeah, Jamal Williams with his 17 touchdowns.
With his 500 yards rushing and 20 touchdowns. That I think he actually had almost 1,000 yards. I'm just being a
But
dick.
still, it's like-
still like it's still.
Joe takes his flyers and then it pans out for him.
Yeah, and
The
it's like
fucker.
Joe. And it's like, look, Joe is. I'm not gonna take anything away from Joe. Joe's a very good fantasy player.
He is, though.
We're in a couple leagues with Joe, and he's always competitive. He's always
Like every year in
yeah,
every
he's
league.
always in the playoffs. So you got to be doing something right. Like you got to.
But it's just the way he does it. It's like, how
How the fuck is
how
this
could you
working?
see that? How could you see this panning out?
Yeah, and it's like,
I did get my
Joe-
fuand revenge against him.
yeah, Joe has turned into like the new Dean for me. Like I feel like Dean used to be my kryptonite, and then I beat him once.
And then it was-
and
everything's
now
fine.
it's Joe. It's like It Follows, that movie. It's like it latched onto Joe, and now Joe is my curse, and I cannot fucking beat Joe for the life of me. I don't know what it is, but Joe has my number. But the playoff picture in this TJ league is a fucking nightmare right now. Basically, the whole league is about to be 5 and 6 or 6 and 5.
There's
And then there's like a couple could be a couple 8 and 3 teams potentially. I mean, you're gonna be an 8 and 3 team. Mike is gonna be 8 and 3 now. Joe could be 8-3.
He could be. I hope not.
So
I need him
I
to
hope
lose.
not also.
Because he's what, 7-3? Yeah.
Yeah. So Matt fucked up. If Matt doesn't beat Tim, which he's projected to, but still, like, projections don't mean fucking anything.
No, they don't.
They
Don't ever go.
Yeah. So it's like Matt is projected to beat Tim, but Matt is 5-5 and he's last in your division.
Which is,
Pretty crazy, to be honest.
it's actually fucking bonkers.
Yeah, because I'm 5-5 and I'm second in my division. And, you know, I don't even care because I have almost 1,400 points for us. I don't fucking care.
Are
But
you number one in scoring?
I think so.
Yeah, he is. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Bum.
But I also have the most points given up. Actually, no, the only person who has more is Tiny. No, actually, Big B does too, but fuck Big B. He doesn't count. You're out, buddy.
He's done now.
Yeah, it's a shame because he is a good team. It's kind of sad.
He just couldn't. Well, he was facing the highest score every week, and then he just couldn't recover.
Yeah, and it's like AJ Brown did suck like the first 3 weeks, which hurt him. He lost Justin Fields for a few weeks, which hurt him. No, look, Big B has Raheem Mostert. He's just getting passed around now since I traded him.
He's been traded like 3 times in the last 2 weeks.
Traded, like,
It's pretty fucking ridiculous.
it is kind of ridiculous.
The playoffs are going to come down to week 14. It's going to be because, yeah, the 9 seed, 8 seed, and 7 seed and 6 seed are all within range of each other. Even the 5th and 4th. Like if Mason and you lose,
Yeah, because
Big Joe also.
So it's only the top 2 teams are going to get a bye. So to be honest, if you have 7 wins, you should make it.
7 is definitely in the playoffs. 8 is an absolute.
Yeah, I mean, like if you miss the playoffs with 8 wins, it's such bad luck.
The only time I ever saw that
happens.
happen was when 4 out of 14 teams made playoffs.
Yeah.
When we had our.
Yeah, which is crazy. I don't know.
I
why
can't
they ever
believe we did that. That was awful.
That's commish.
It was like it was Nickel. He was 8-5 one year
Oh no, I do remember that.
And
he
he
was
missed.
8-5 and he missed,
because Dean and Nick were both 10-win teams,
which is crazy.
which is fucking stupid.
It is so hard to get 10 wins in a redraft
It
league.
is.
It really is.
I have a chance to get it this year, but that would be the first time ever in my playing fantasy, and I've been playing for 10 years.
I've had 10 wins in Dynasty, but I feel like Dynasty's a little different because you build your team up for several years. So it's like
And you could just have all Hall of Famers on your fucking
you can get
lineup.
lucky. Like I did get a little lucky and hit on some draft picks, and then like you're a powerhouse, and you have these guys till they're retired, dead.
Yeah, it's like sometimes
Or-
in Dynasty you could have a full lineup and they're all going within the first round in redraft leagues.
Yeah,
and
it's you got to get lucky, of course, but still, like Dynasty's actually very fun.
I love Dynasty.
Yeah, I've actually been enjoying it a lot. I've actually been thinking about maybe bringing it up to our TJ league if they want to do a Dynasty league too, because I'm about to leave like 3 of my leagues actually because I don't care about them,
same.
and they piss me off.
Well, some of them they end up being like their work leagues or their
Yeah, and
it's some family league. And
yeah, and it's like I'm just not doing a dude. I knew I was in too many leagues when I forgot to put a quarterback and a defense in my $300 league. I was like, yeah, I'm in too many leagues. I gotta quit a couple. I'm like, this just isn't even fun.
Like I felt like that last year with some of the leagues I was in. I was in like 8.
Yeah, it's not even fun.
And I just couldn't focus on any of them. I felt like I was kind of putting in waivers and it was kind of like just bullshit. Like whatever, I'll just put it in.
Yeah,
Like, I
and
wasn't
like,
really thinking
If I
about
get him,
anything.
I get him.
yep.
Like if I, like, it's, and it's like you're bound to have at least 2 or 3 bad teams if you're an 8 league, unless you draft exactly the same or you're just some wizard like Dean. That like I don't know how you're gonna have at least 1 or 2 bad teams. And then I assume you're doing most of these leagues for money.
Yeah,
So then it's like
it has to be money.
yeah, so then it's like you're gonna throw probably like $50 out the window because you're gonna have a league you barely care about. I think it's better to do like 3 really good, like really fun leagues
I think
than just being 10. And it's
I think
bullshit.
4 to 5 is a good 6 or more is
too
pushing it.
much. It's even Dynasty's a little different because like you know who you have, and
You could just
in
set
Dynasty
it.
there's no waivers pretty much because
Oh fuck no, there's nobody.
Yeah. There's no one ever.
I actually feel bad for Big B. We were talking about Big B's dynasty team there when we were at Ollie's. And Big B was like, dude, my team is just, he's like, I hate it so much. He's like, I can't do anything.
He has to load up on draft picks. That's the only way. He has to completely tank.
I actually feel bad. Part of me feels like we should restart the free agency league because when we drafted, we had the salary cap. And some teams didn't. So like I remember Nick in particular. Like Nick picked a lot of young players because he didn't want to, and I get that because he didn't want to like use all his cap. He wanted to kind of be a little young and build through his draft picks. Then around like I think 2 years later, we took that out because it was too hard. You had to keep track of it in like an Excel spreadsheet and shit. It was just too much. But now like I just said fuck it when we had an auction draft. And I just took all the best players, and I kind of had an unfair advantage, I feel like, because of that.
Yeah.
And it's like now, all these years later, I have a great team, sure, but
Well, I also feel like
I did kind of get gifted that because we changed our whole format.
well, the counter to that is I don't think using that draft or the startup is really I think for Big B's sake, it was unfair because he took over someone else's
did.
team.
He did. We had a friend who went off to the army. And he couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And and Big B had taken over his spot. But unfortunately, when we started the dynasty, like we didn't know like how serious it was going to be. Like we did. So I remember Nickel had the first pick.
But yeah, and he took like N'Keal Harry.
He took N'Keal Harry
was,
just because he
just
liked him
sunk
coming
his-
out of college. Just because
sunk
he
his
loved
team.
him. Yeah, he said sunk his team right
like
away.
Big B could have Josh Jacobs or like DK Metcalf, and he just
Then like the one first overall pick Nickel had, he took Najee Harris. and then so now
that was Big B's pick.
Oh wait, no, that was Big B.
Yeah.
Big B had already taken over.
But that was like the consensus.
It was, so I can't really get mad at Big. Plus,
However,
everybody loves running backs.
the counter argument to like maybe restarting is I think nobody has like the same players from the startup pretty much.
That is true. I mean, like I have a very different team.
Like everybody, like I don't have a single player from. I actually don't have one player. Brandon Cooks, that's the only guy, and I traded back for him.
Yeah, I
That's the
have
only
a
guy I
few still, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like CMC, I still have him to start up draft.
Yeah, but also like how much longer? And it also it
That's
only
true. I mean,
took
he could
until
fall
last
off
year.
next year.
Yeah, and it only took until last year for you to finally win.
I was gonna say, yeah, and it's like for that ridiculous team I've had, I was never able to win except last year. So it still is all luck.
Yeah.
And in Dynasty, we have such big rosters that the guys can almost plug in anybody.
It's like a 25 player roster.
Yeah, so it's like basically any team can put up 170
and
in the league, like any week. Like any team can get lucky and put up 170.
we have it's a super flex and an extra flex. So and
Yeah.
3 receivers. So it's what if you're putting 150 to 170, that's about average. Like you feel like you're putting a lot, but you can still get beat with that.
Yeah, like there's plenty of weeks where I score 130, 140, and I'm either in a close game or I've lost in Dynasty. But I think Dynasty's fun. I honestly think Sleeper is a really cool app and it makes it really easy too.
You won't fucking leave me alone in that fucking league.
What in Dynasty?
Like every
I'm
time I
sorry,
lose,
man.
you lose. Every time you win, I win. We have the same amount of points. Like
Unless Mahomes gets 70, I'm gonna beat Dean. Says I'm sorry.
it's gonna come down to our last matchup, which is in week 12 or no, week 13.
Hopefully, I'll play Big B or
No,
something.
I'm wrong.
No, wait,
It's
no.
the
Do I
last
play
week
you?
of the season.
Do I play you?
Last week of the season.
Oh,
yeah.
that's fucked.
And that's gonna
man.
be for the division.
That's fucked.
That's crazy.
If we
One of
both
us
keep
needs
winning,
to lose before then. That is fucked.
I fucking hate you.
That's gonna be in Dynasty. Do we have 2 buys or 1? We have 2, right?
Two.
Because we only have 10 teams.
Division winner gets the bye.
Yeah,
so 2.
so because
So it's 6 out of 10, two buys.
yeah, Dynasty's cool. I love like drafting some of my guys and watching them grow up,
Yeah,
like CeeDee Lamb.
it's been nice.
Yeah, and I mean I did have Jamar Chase too, but I traded him for Jefferson, so I hope nobody can blame me.
I drafted Amon-Ra
I
St.
don't think we
Brown.
can blame you.
But it's
I've been watching him grow up.
yeah, and it's like St. Brown too. It's fun to like Brian Robinson. I took him I think in like the 3rd round of the rookie draft. That was just like some random dart.
That's
throw.
like that's a flyer. At that
yeah, and it's like
point.
now he starts for me. Like Puka Nakua was our Mr. Irrelevant. in Dynasty this year.
And now look at him.
Yeah, and I'm starting him every week. Nick has Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. Nick took Jalen Hurts in the 5th round of the rookie draft.
When he was Carson Wentz's
When
back.
he was Carson Wentz's backup. Yeah, so it's sometimes you just take some flyers in Dynasty and it's just to see them pay off. And
also
it's
it's just
really
like-
fun.
And the thing is, I think, and when enough time passes, the startup just really doesn't matter anymore because, like, for instance, I traded for Tyreek Hill. I traded for Cooper Kupp, Keenan Allen.
Because the guys start selling their teams.
I drafted
like,
Amon-Ra St. Brown. I traded for Justin Herbert, traded for Tony Pollard. Like, you can build your team. You just have to make
can.
the right moves and take some gambles.
And it's like you got to look at you got to really look at what guys want and need. So or want and what they have now. So Big B, for example, we're talking about his team. He just needs draft picks.
Yeah,
like
he has CJ Stroud. That's a good starting point, but
It's
he needs
something,
to
at
fucking
least.
cut.
Yeah.
Like I've been trying to offer him like all my draft picks and like just be like, give me your players and you need to rebuild.
He offered me Terry McLaurin for a first. I'm not giving up a first for Terry McLaurin.
No,
And now, to be,
Even
I really like keeping my first round picks. I don't like trading my first round picks away because I feel like you can almost always get an impact player.
you can. Sometimes I feel like
mean,
if
you
it's a
whiff.
couple years down the road,
You have a couple of years down the road, but it's like this past first round. Like I just took Zay Flowers. Like he's already been helping me.
you did
this
also
year.
take CeeDee Lamb 1 year.
Yeah, and it's like 1 year I took CeeDee Lamb, and it's like these guys can really help you. And CeeDee Lamb wouldn't light the world on fire off the rip, but he was okay enough to where I can throw him in the lineup if I had to.
But it comes back to watching your players grow.
Yeah, and you're watching them grow
It's
up.
a farm system.
It's exactly what it is. And I would rather, so like imagine now I traded that first round pick away for not Terry McLaurin, but a guy of Terry McLaurin's caliber, the CeeDee Lamb year. I'm trading CeeDee Lamb for Terry McLaurin now. Like I don't, and it's like, look, I'm not perfect. I took fucking Paris Campbell in the first round 1 year. Like I'm not, I fucking whiffed. So I took Bryce Young this year. I fucked up. Like I've whiffed. Like
I don't
it's,
think you can say
look,
the ruling's out on Bryce Young yet.
he's still a baby. He's young.
And the team's terrible.
Oh my god, they're fucking miserable.
I mean, they could use a receiver that they traded away to get him.
Yeah.
And all those draft picks that
the
to
guy
build
that's
around him.
really helping Justin Fields right
I
now.
honestly don't understand that move. They traded away a weapon and all these draft picks, and they now have the quarterback, but they have nothing to build around him.
So apparently the Bears said we are not doing this deal unless DJ Moore is in it. Like that was like the deal breaker. Like they would not trade the first pick. So I guess the Panthers maybe valued a QB more, but it sucks though because like you look at what CJ Stroud is doing, and I don't think the Texans are some great roster at all. I think they're a little better
Well,
than
they didn't
Carolina.
mortgage their entire future just for one player.
Yeah, and it's like whenever we see somebody do that, I feel like it doesn't work.
No. I feel like no quarterback, it's very hard to be like, oh, there's our next Peyton Manning or our next Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. Like, you're not going to just, you need to hedge your bets a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, and it's like even CJ Stroud has been a surprise. Like I remember Big B drafted CJ Stroud very high, and he got a lot of shit for that.
Yeah.
On draft day. Like everybody was like, oh, what the fuck you doing draft day? Not as much shit as I got, rightfully so.
For Bryce Young.
Which I
because
deserve
everybody
it.
thought it should have been Anthony Richardson, who's now out for
Who's
the year.
hurt for the year and who needs to learn how to slide if he's going to keep getting hurt.
CJ Stroud is the best in
No,
that
he's
class right now.
He is legit. I don't care about the
100%.
3 picks yesterday. He's legit. What's that? Up to 5 picks on the season now? Oh no.
Oh,
His
no.
5th pick as a rookie. Like
Through 11 weeks.
the Texans are what, 6-4 now?
They are.
They were 2-2.
They're in a
I
playoff
think.
spot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty sure they were 2-2 to start
were
the year.
0-2.
Or they were 0-2, and now they're 6-4.
They're 6-2 since that 0-2 start.
And then everybody was giving Stroud shit in the preseason too because he looked like dog water. And then regular season started and he just.
Yeah. Remember
Oh,
how bad
'cause-
Jamar Chase was in the preseason?
oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
He
Like,
dropped
Constant-
one ball and everybody's like, his career's done.
Oh, I'm never drafting him.
Oh yeah, historic rookie
200
season.
yards in a game.
Yeah, like, and that's just we overreact way too much.
We really do.
But like sometimes, dude, like CJ Stroud, like you just watch this guy throw the ball. You're like, yeah, this guy's a football player. He's like John Gruden. He's like this guy.
This guy right here.
This guy's just a football player. You know, like I love
Spider
this
2Y banana.
guy. Like He is, yeah, he's definitely elevated the Texans to another level.
And I'm excited to see where they go.
I was gonna say I'm very excited about them next year.
Yeah, I'm curious to see whether they get overhyped,
Like
or what
some
kind of pieces
teams this season.
Yeah, what kind of pieces? Like, are they going to be next year's Jacksonville, or
And it's funny because Jacksonville's been a good team still.
they're a winning team. It's just not a juicy fantasy.
Oh, I'm never touching a Jaguar ever again.
Yeah,
the
like-
1 week I benched Calvin Ridley because I finally had enough is the week he decides to actually show up and do something.
Oh, hi, girls.
Here they come.
They've arrived.
So since the Texans are clearly thankful for C.J. Stroud, what is one fantasy player you guys are thankful for this year?
Just
on
this
any-
year or just over the years?
This year. Before we head out of here,
You could start.
I'll start with Amon-Ra St. Brown in Dynasty. I am so thankful for him because he's just Mr. Consistent. He is a stud.
Yeah, he's. I was actually gonna say him for free agency, but I don't want to be boring because you just said. So I'll just throw in why I would have said him. I had the 14th pick, and I have 6 wins. And,
That's incredible. That doesn't happen in
And
our
St.
league.
Brown was my 14th pick. And he has been, I actually was upset because I really wanted CeeDee Lamb or A.J. Brown. They both went right before me. And I was like, well, I want a receiver because fuck running backs.
You're like, oh, I'm
So,
stuck
and
with
then I'm like, I
Amon-Ra.
guess I'm taking Amon-Ra St. Brown. And he has literally been so amazing. He's been so steady, but he still gives you like 30-point upside.
And it's
40-point upside.
And it's not an accident either. Like, he was doing this towards the end of his rookie year, all of last year, and he's doing it this year.
I
again.
think he's proved that he's a top 10, easy top 10 receiver, maybe like top 8. Top
Tim's
7.
just getting marauded by fucking dogs.
Mauled by the dogs. But if I had to say this season, it's I don't want to say Travis Kelce. I'm actually very thankful for Raheem Mostert.
That you didn't give up on him. That he's been showing up for
So
you.
I did trade him finally, but it's because he was my best trade chip.
and
like,
you needed to make a move.
I kind of believe you have to give something to get something, but I got Raheem Mostert pretty much for free in our draft, and
he got you
he's
quite a
got
few
me
wins,
a few wins this season
like by himself.
by himself, and it's Raheem Mostert we're talking about. And that kind of made up for me the fact that I lit a draft pick on fire with Cam Akers. I lit a draft pick on fire with Deontay Johnson. Like I lit several draft picks on fire, and that saved me a little bit. So I'm very thankful for Mr. Raheem Mostert
And
this
Tim?
season.
I'm going to go with Mr. Weekly ICBM.
Tyreek
And
Hill.
Tyreek
I
Hill.
mean, yeah, it's
I mean, you
100%.
gotta like.
I'm so glad I took him at 2, dude.
yeah, and it's a
Over
Tim also
Jamar
got
Chase.
shit for that.
Over Jamar Chase.
And that was an actually good.
And
good move in
again, the
hindsight.
only reason I did it is because he had 170 targets last year.
and that wasn't going away.
And that's when I was like,
How's that gonna go away?
170 targets. Waddle played pretty much all year last year. I'm just going to go with the dude who was targeted more.
And plus, he could get just a bomb every single fucking week.
He could turn a 5-yard screen into a 99-yard
That's a-
touchdown. So, like,
And to notice how Tyreek Hill, I would argue, got a little underdrafted this year. What is it? Like, he should have been going into top 3, top 5.
Yeah, people were kind of sliding him back because of the sexy draft picks.
Yeah, like I saw him going like 9th, 8th, a
Yep.
couple times. And Jalen Waddle was very overdrafted this
Yeah.
season.
a lot of players were overdrafted. Like,
A lot of number 2 receivers.
yeah, get a number one. Don't put a
yeah.
lot of stock in a number 2, guys.
Yeah,
Like, just because AJ Brown and Devonta Smith did it, and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase did it one year, it doesn't mean it's going to happen every single year.
but I would even argue Devontae Smith hasn't really paid off his ADP.
No,
Nah.
which is why I think he's a good buy low. throughout the year.
Yeah, I think the whole get it together and he'll have his stretch. But while Brown is until somebody stops Brown, it's you can kiss Devontae Smith goodbye right now.
Seriously.
Because it's like Brown is so unstoppable right now, and him and Hurts have such good chemistry with each other. Nothing's gonna change with that right now.
there's no way.
Well, I'm excited for Thanksgiving, and I think that just about wraps up this week, guys. I'm going to fucking cue this song. Catch you guys next week.
Hopefully, y'all
sir.
get a win on Monday night.
Hopefully we get a win on Thursday.
Yeah.